Ambassador Salah Hammad, welcome to our DGTrends platform.
Thank you very much for having me.
As a human rights expert, what inspires you to continue engaging in the field?
I would say the people. As a human rights expert, of course, should be there for the people, trying to promote and also educate and orient on the human rights of the people. So I think the passion for being there for the people is what really keeps me going on so far.
I also understand you're the focal point of the Human Rights and Transitional Justice Cluster of the African Governance Platform. What is the cluster really about?
The Human Rights and Transitional Justice Cluster is part of the structure of the African governance architecture. So the cluster is one of the five clusters of the AGA, and this cluster brings together the AU organs with a human rights mandate. So we can coordinate, collaborate our agenda to better together collectively promote and protect human and people's rights on the continent. So I would say it's a platform to bring members of the cluster together, the organs with the human rights mandate, so we can also exchange information, best practices on the way forward, and how we can together try to help the African people wherever they are, and also to promote and protect their rights as well. Secondly, also the cluster is another platform for us to exchange ideas and notes, and also programs to identify programs that could be jointly implemented. Not only that, but also policy norms and standards that could collectively be developed as part of the activities of the cluster.
And in your opinion, how has the African human and people's rights system transformed in the past 2 decades?
Well, I would say when the human and people's rights system was established 3 decades ago, it was established, in fact, to help in the liberation movement, the liberation of the continent. And then throughout the last 3 decades, the system has been totally transformed to become a more effective system that is there for the African people to benefit from. The system is now more closer to the people, more accessible. Of course, there are so many challenges that still exist, but I would say it is more closer to the people now and more accessible. And the other good thing is the system is now, or at least with the many campaigns that the African Union led to raise awareness about the existence of the system. So I would say now the system is closer to the people, but also the people really more aware of the norms, standards, and mechanisms that are part of the system. So this is a very important issue. In addition to that, I would also say that the system is now more effective as a result of the implementation of the Human Rights Strategy for Africa, which was adopted in 2011. The strategy was meant to identify the gaps in the system or within the system, and also to identify the challenges, and to as well identify recommendations to deal with the challenges and to overcome the problems and the obstacles that are faced by the human and people's rights system. So the system is more operationalized now, more effective, and I would say again more closer to the people.
And how has the same system, the African human and people's rights system, enhanced the promotion and protection of human rights on the continent?
As we all know, the promotion and protection of the human and people's rights in Africa is mainly the responsibility of the governments of the member states. But today, more than before, this responsibility is becoming more collective. So it is no longer, in fact, the sole responsibility of the governments. It is now a collective responsibility. So as a result, the system also became more shared among all the stakeholders. So now we have the government from one side, we have the civil society from one side, we have another role played by the national stakeholders like the National Human Rights Commissions, the media, the academia, So now the system is becoming more inclusive and as a result also more effective.
Now, there's also something called Project 2016. Some people may have heard about it, others maybe not, probably not. What is Project 2016 actually all about?
During the African Union Summit 2015 in Malabo, Equatorial Guinea, the Executive Council of the African Union recommended the declaration of 2016 as the Year of Human Rights in Africa. And then in 2016, January, the declaration was officially endorsed by the Assembly of the African Union. So 2016 is a year to celebrate human rights, and the theme is human rights in Africa with particular focus on the rights of women. Project 2016 is the number of activities and programs that will be implemented throughout the year 2016 to celebrate the year, and the theme of the year is the Year of Human Rights. So we have identified a number of activities and programs, and then we just give them this name, Project 2016. So then it will be the theme that under which the number of activities and programs will be implemented.
That's a catchy name. I've learned something now. Now, during the recently concluded 2016 summit in Kigali, Rwanda, African Union heads of state and government declared the next 10 years the decade of human rights. Now, what does the Union intend to achieve in that time, that decade?
I believe the declaration was an achievement in itself, and declaring the next 10 years as the Human Rights Decade in Africa was a great declaration by our heads of state and government. And I think in the declaration itself, the heads of state and government reiterated their commitments to promote and protect human and people's rights in Africa. So this Human Rights Decade, the next 10 years, in fact, will be an opportunity for member states of the African Union as well as other stakeholders to collectively identify all the gaps that currently exist and also the challenges that are faced to better promote and protect human and people's rights on the continent. The good thing is now we have the commitment of our heads of state and government, but definitely we will need greater political support from our member states and also from all other stakeholders to be part of this collective movement towards the promotion and protection of human and people's rights in Africa. The decade will come with a 10 years action plan, starting as of January 2017 to December 2027. So hopefully by implementing this action plan, we will be able to address the gaps and also to address the challenges and to come up with good and implementable recommendations that will enhance the effectiveness of the African human and people's rights as a system as a whole, and also to give more support to the human rights mechanisms in order for them to fulfill their mandates. So then we can make Africa a better place for African people to live.
Ambassador, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.